Okay, we've got a good one today. Right on the heels of the impeachment trial, we've got my friend Al Franken. Al, thanks for coming back on.
Brian, thanks. My pleasure. My pleasure.
Right now, you've heard both sides present their arguments. You've heard the impeachment managers and you've heard Trump's lawyers. Do you think they presented a good case?
The impeachment managers, I thought, did. Trump's lawyer. I don't think Trump's lawyers tried very hard. I don't think they felt like they had to, and I think they were just trying to make Trump happy by sounding like Trump. But I think they felt they just didn't have to do it. They could have gone out there and just mooned the senators and just said "F you," and they would have been fine. That's how they feel. They got their 44, and I
Yeah.
just you know they were pretty bad. They were pretty ill prepared. They did 3 hours out of the 16 they had,
Yeah, and
and
even a good portion of that was the same montage playing on a loop. I think we saw that fight montage 3 times.
I was listening to it, so I just know it went on a long time. I thought that it would have been more effective. I texted one of my Republican former colleagues that it would have been really effective if after each one of those fights, you had shown footage of the riots that happened after that
Right,
Democrat said fight.
right.
That would have made
After
your point better.
the riot that occurred after Elizabeth Warren called for fighting for health care, the riot that
Yeah.
occurred after Maxine Waters and after Chuck Schumer.
Well, Chuck Schumer, that he gets that a lot. There are riots very often.
Yeah, yeah.
No,
Just
it
the
was, yeah. But the thing about is when inciting this thing, it was an incitement that lasted from really before November 3rd, but certainly starting the morning, early in the morning, November 4th, saying it had been stolen.
right.
And so it was a long incitement. And they wouldn't have been there unless they felt those people thought it was stolen. And he
Right.
kept saying it was stolen. And there was no basis for that whatsoever. The managers made this point, which is he lost 61 cases.
Yeah.
That was the legitimate way to do it, even though those cases were not legitimate in many cases. And the judges, and as the managers said, that Republican Trump appointed judges
Yeah.
basically not wrote pretty scathing opinions, just dismissing those. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's true. And even before November 3rd or 4th, by the way, it started. Chris Wallace had asked Trump during an interview, if you lose the election, will you accept the results? And he refused to answer. So
He
this was
refused to commit to a peaceful transition of power.
he was
That is
sowing the seeds for months prior. This was his plan. He broadcasted on national television the same thing. Brian Karem from Playboy asked him in the White House press briefing room the same question, and yet again he refused to commit to a peaceful transition of power. So it's not like it was a
he
surprise.
said there was fraud in the election he won.
Right, right. Yeah,
He
yeah,
said I didn't, and he appointed a commission to prove it, the Kobach Commission,
yeah,
and they found nothing. And
yeah.
so, yeah, I mean,
Is
this,
what he does.
so the idea that, why were those people there? They were there because to stop the steal. Why were they there to stop the steal? Because it had been stolen.
Right.
Why it had not been stolen, and he was just that was inciting. He started inciting way ahead of time,
Yeah,
and just the words, oh, his manager said, well, he said peaceful and patriotically.
yeah,
Look, the mobsters, sometimes they know they're being taped, so they go like, it'd be a shame if Vinny, turned up, dead in the swamp, in New Jersey, and then, and later, Okay, Tony, we're gonna go take out Vinny. Well, no, the boss said it'd be a shame.
Right.
No, that's cover. That's a cover. What are you talking about? No, we're not gonna kill Vinny. He'd be a shame. He said. Don't. How long have you been with us? 8 years. You don't know. When he says it'd be a shame, he means do it. Really?
Right.
Guy, man, oh man, Tony, you're stupid. Okay, anyway, that's
No, but it's true. I mean, it's that stupid. Like the
it's
guy
pretty
spent
stupid.
the guy spent months inciting this, laying the seeds, germinating, letting these seeds germinate to ultimately do what
And
happened.
then spending money to organize this thing
Right.
and
Put
tout it. And
$50 million into ads from his election defense fund. This thing was a long time in the making. And then all of a sudden you point to the fact that, oh, well, he did say walk down to that insurrection, but do it peacefully. And that absolves the guy?
it's mind-boggling
Yeah.
that this is, but they know it doesn't matter
Right. Right.
because these Republicans are just afraid of their base.
The ironic part about that is that Donald Trump wouldn't even be punished for this. This is just the standard that they're setting. So that's to say, here's what we won't accept moving forward from a Democrat or a Republican. But Trump won't even go to prison for a single day, hour, minute. And
Not
yet,
for this.
not for this. No, not right. Not for this. But the point is that, like, wouldn't you want to establish a precedent, knowing that Donald Trump is safe? You're not doing anything to hurt him. He will still be protected, at least as far as this impeachment trial
Well, he
goes.
can't run again.
Right, but I mean, like,
If-
he'll be
if they're-
okay. So, isn't this the standard that they want to set? Don't they have any acknowledgement that, like, if Joe Biden runs a second term and loses, claims he won for several months to the point where everyone believes it, and those people storm the Capitol, that'll be okay based on the precedent that Republicans are setting here?
No, because then they'd vote to convict Biden. I mean, there's no principle here. They just are afraid of their base. So they're Republicans, and they think they'll lose the primary to a Republican if they, vote to convict. That's all.
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of what it is. But he may go to prison for all sorts of things.
Yeah.
And now, I mean, part of this case, which was the shakedown of the Secretary of State Raffensperger, is hilarious. If that isn't impeachable, I don't know what it is. I mean, he's basically threatened the guy, and he asked him. The funniest thing to me in this whole thing is asking for 11,780 votes.
One single more vote than the amount that he got.
So how would that have? Let's say Raffensperger did that. How would that have played out? Okay, would it have been like he calls a press conference, right? And he goes like, turns out that that Trump won. Trump has won the election. We they had some revisions of the totals, and he won by one vote. Did you have a recount? No. We found some votes. You what? Yeah, we found. How many votes did you find? 11,780. And they were all for Trump? Yes. It was 11,780 to 0 in the votes we found. Where did you find them? In a box.
Mm-hmm.
Where was the box? In a closet. I mean, what's he asking the guy to do?
Yeah.
How stupid is this? How desperate. If you listen to that call, it is just so desperate.
Yeah.
Because at this point, he knows he's tried almost everything. And the last desperate thing he's going to try is to kill the vice president. It seems. I mean, he that happened today, where you saw his counsel, Trump's counsel, go like, I don't know what happened, and Tuberville has said that he got a call from the president, and he told the president, they told Trump that they just pulled Pence out and he
Yeah.
had to go, and he hung up on the president, right?
Yeah.
And now, soon after that, he texted a text attacking the vice president. And then
Knowing that his life was just put in danger.
yeah. So that, and then that lawyer said, and they have really good relationship.
Yeah, yeah.
Well,
Up
until he tried to kill him,
Right.
and then that has a way of ruining, of
Yeah.
hurting a relationship.
I've found that sicking a mob of insurrectionists on people even tends to hurt the relationships that I have with people who are otherwise pretty good friends. I mean, that's just what I've found.
Yeah, it has severed several.
Yeah.
So, that's what that lawyer is saying at that time. He's going
Yeah.
like, they have a really good relationship.
Yeah.
Yeah, but there's a mob chanting, "Hang my Pence,"
Right.
and then for 3 hours, and people in the White House evidently are saying to him, "You got to do something." And McCarthy calls him, and Chris Christie is going on TV, going like, he incited this.
Yeah.
He's got to call him off. He's the only one who can. And that's obvious. And Chris Christie is, a Trump sycophant.
Yeah.
And he's saying that, and Mulvaney. And I mean, it's amazing to watch this. And it's sad, isn't it? It's kind of sad to see these senators who don't have the cojones to just go like, okay, come on.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you one more question, and that is that a lot of these people. I'm assuming that you might be friends with some of these Republican senators. Do you think there's any understanding of what kind of a country they're creating here, like where this is allowed? Is there any appreciation of the gravity of how this will fundamentally change our democracy?
Well, I don't know. I mean, the capacity to fool yourself that human beings have is pretty strong. And I have talked to a few of these guys, and tried to talk them out of their position. And it's been it's been interesting, because I've gotten some kind of acknowledgement that they're doing it for political reasons.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, as if I didn't know, but I mean, some sort of admission after a long breaking them down to finally, okay, I'm not proud of it, but not ashamed enough to actually do the right thing. They don't say that part, but that's the subtext.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's quite inspiring.
Yeah, I can imagine. Well, in the meantime, the good news is that it's not just Trump on trial. It's all of these Republican senators whose legacies will be inextricably linked to their vote in this trial. So as of
but
this
you
recording,
know what? I've said this kind of thing before. I've tweeted that kind of thing before, and overwhelmingly the response from my people, our people, is they don't care.
Right. Yeah.
That's going to be their legacy. They don't care.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay. And it's hard to argue with that, isn't it?
It's true. In the meantime, all you got to do is just, I was gonna say fight a little harder, but I want to be careful about saying the word fight, because I don't want you and I to end up in some montage.
Riot.
Yeah. I don't want to incite a riot here. I don't know if I could have that on our conscience between the two of us, but for all intents and purposes, to keep working hard to elect Democrats, because this is what you get with the Republican Party. So with that said, Al, thanks so much for taking the time.
Yeah, we'll keep fighting. everybody out there.
Yeah. Peacefully. Do it peacefully
You
though, you know what I'm
know,
saying? Yeah.
you don't want anyone getting hurt. It's like,
Yeah. Yeah.
nah,
Just be peaceful.
no, peaceful. Fight.